I promise you, if Google Ads gave you 8-to-1 return, you'd find the money by Friday. You'd check the numbers, you'd increase your budget, and ask, why are we not doing more of this? But when a good employee could create another $100,000 a year in revenue, a lot of contractors post one cheap job ad, hope the right person sees it, and then act shocked when the candidates are weak. Then they say the thing every contractor says: good people just don't exist anymore. But I don't think that's always true. A lot of time, good people do exist. You are trying to fill a six-figure role by doing a $50 job ad, and that's where the problem starts. You have the wrong number. I'll give you a quick example of a friend of mine. He owns an insurance agency. Obviously, it's a different industry. Same hiring problems, though. Always hard to find good people. For years, he was trying to find good salespeople and a lot of business owners. And like a lot of business owners, he offered a referral bonus. $500, which actually sounds reasonable until you ask what the right salesperson is actually worth. Because nobody is putting their name on the line for $500. Nobody was calling their best former coworker. Nobody was thinking, you know who would be perfect for this? Absolutely nothing happened. So he finally ran the math and he realized a good salesperson was worth roughly $150,000 in gross profit in the first 6 months alone. Not over 10 years, not lifetime value, the first 6 months. So he changed the referral bonus from the $500 to $5,000. And all of a sudden, his employees remembered names of former coworkers, people they respected, people they had never bothered to mention before. Same company, same market, same people, but a different number. The labor market obviously didn't magically change, but he changed his math. And the same thing happens with techs, salespeople, project managers, and office people. The role might be worth six figures. Most contractors look at hiring as a cost. And I've experienced this through the coaching, through my own home improvement business for 23 years. They don't actually know what a good hire is worth, so hiring feels like a cost. And when something feels like a cost, the natural instinct is to make it cheap. We'll do a cheap ad, a cheap referral bonus. The whole process will be cheap. The whole effort will be minimal. Then they get cheap results and blame the market. But once you know the return, the whole question changes. It's no longer how little can I spend to get this new employee. It becomes, what is this person worth if I get it right? That is a very different question, and it leads to very different decisions. What I'd actually do if I were looking at this in a contracting business, I'd start with one role. Don't do every role, do one. The role that would take the most pressure off the owner. I'm currently in a conversation with a client, actually two. We're right in the position of deciding this role. Maybe it's a tech, maybe it's a salesperson, maybe it's a project manager, maybe it's another office person who finally stops every little issue from landing on your phone. Then I'd ask three simple questions. What does this person produce? What do they cost? And what's left over? That's it. That's return on hire. The simple math. Let's say you need another solid tech. Not a unicorn, not Michael Jordan of technicians, just a good tech who shows up, can run calls, takes care of the customers, does the work right. Let's say they run 4 calls a day and the average job is 500. That's $2,000 in revenue a day. Let's also assume the work creates about 40% gross profit before wages. That's $800 a day. Run that over 200 working days, and that's $160,000 a year. So let's now say you pay that person $70,000. After paying them, there's still $90,000 left over. So that person is not just a $70,000 expense. They create $90,000 after their wages. And if they stay 3 years, that one good hire could be worth $270,000. Now ask a better question. If the right person could be worth $270,000, is spending $5,000 to find them expensive? Or is missing out on them expensive? The return doesn't always look like revenue. Google ads feel easy because the return is visible. You spend money, you get leads, you track cost per lead, you track booked jobs, you track revenue. Hiring doesn't feel like that. Hiring feels messy. Hiring feels emotional. Hiring feels uncertain. So contractors hire on gut feel. That's the mistake, because the right hire can outperform almost anything else you spend money on. You just don't always see it on one clean report. You feel it in the business. You feel it when every job stops getting stuck on your phone. You feel it with the decrease in calls about problems with your team. You feel it with the customers getting called back without you reminding someone. You feel it when the crew knows what to do. And you definitely feel it when the business doesn't need you to rescue it at 5:30 when your tea time's at 6. This return is real. It just doesn't always show up on a payroll report. What about the cost of an empty seat? An empty role is not neutral. An empty role is running a tab. Every week that seat stays open, you pay for it somewhere. You pay in jobs you can't take. You pay in callbacks you handle yourself. You pay in customers who wait too long. You pay in good employees getting stretched too thin. So many contractors are right in that position where the few employees they do have are being stretched so thin there's just a good chance you pay in your own brain being full of things someone else should own. And because nobody sends you an invoice for that, you pretend it's free, but it's not free. It's just invisible. And invisible costs are the easiest ones to ignore. That's why cheap recruiting can become one of the most expensive decisions in the company. So what does the right hire really buy? A good tech doesn't just run calls. They protect your schedule. They protect your reputation. They protect your reviews. A good project manager doesn't just manage projects. They catch problems before those problems land on your phone. They answer questions before they can become complaints. They see small issues before they turn into expensive ones. A good office person doesn't just answer phones. They keep the day from turning into a pile of text callbacks and reminders. They organize all of your chaos. They stop the business from feeling like it's held together by memory and text messages. That is the part most homeowners underprice. They only calculate the wage. They don't calculate what pressure is removed from their lives. A lot of contractors don't have a hiring problem. They have a valuation problem. They have not valued the role. They have not valued the empty seat. They have not valued the pressure it removes. They have not valued the growth it unlocks. So they try to buy talent at the lowest possible price with the weakest possible process and then use the result as proof their talent doesn't exist. But the market is not always the problem. Sometimes the opportunity is the problem. Sometimes the process is the problem. Sometimes your math is the problem. A weak hiring strategy doesn't prove good people are gone. It proves your recruitment effort didn't get their attention. If I were doing this week, I'd pick one role, the one role that would make the business quieter in your head. Then I'd run the number. What does this person produce? What do they cost? What's left? And then I'd ask, what am I willing to spend to find this person? Because the right hire doesn't just add revenue. They buy back capacity. They buy back your focus. They buy back your momentum. And sometimes they're the difference between answering one more crew question at 6:30 and getting home for dinner. So this concept really hits home with me. It was a big change in my philosophy that happened about 6 years ago in my home improvement company, where I really started looking at employees as investments and I really started hiring better people. And it's amazing the transition that created in my life and in my business. I have a team of professionals that I can leave for 30 days and I don't have to worry about the business because I know they're focused on the same things. So change this mindset and you'll grow your business.